Faster, louder, more upbeat. Are you guys gonna get on your feet? Faster, louder, something faster and louder and much quicker. Stephen Brody, Stephen's leader. Push and believe. Secret show for the Burn on TV. Here we go. You come up with Brian. Are you guys ready to have a great time tonight? Hey, Brian, put something good on. I've done over 2,000 audience warm-ups. I know what I'm doing. You're putting on this John Mayer crap. Stop trying to be funny, and let's get this crowd involved. What do you say? I do the audience warm-up at the Burn with Jeff Ross. We just completed our second season. It was a great episode to kick off our final. You got something good. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, kick it. Here we go.
Oppa Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Everybody. Everybody laugh and feel good about yourself. Stephen Brody, Stephen's hanging out in the valley. Coffee bean to Starbucks, and that's how I tally. Yes, I do that. Living alone in a flat. Walk around with the tambourine. 818, that's how I live. Push and believe. I got it. Comedy Central special. What them you wearing? 27. Everybody! Push, push, push. That's the end of it? All right, that's fine. So, guys, what we got here tonight is a great show. Brian put together, Redban, a fantastic show for you tonight. It's not often you get to see a current show that hasn't even aired its final episode until tomorrow night. You're going to see the cast. You're going to see the crew. You're going to see people who are involved in what it takes to take an idea out of this very room, out of the room downstairs, and to take young comedians that you see on the list doing open the mics, taking them in to a real-life TV job setting. You know, Jeff Ross, who will be here. Give it up for Jeff Ross, the roast master. He will be on the show. You know, Jeff came in here, and he hired, there's at least three comedians that he hired on the show that perform here at the Comedy Store. Young comedians, and you would say, wow, who did he get? The top of the top? No, he got these young, funny kids that you wouldn't see until after midnight. But funny is funny, and Jeff has the eye for what it takes. So just because somebody's performing at 1 o'clock in the morning in front of two people, it doesn't mean that person isn't as funny as the guy who's performing at 10 o'clock in front of 300 people. Comedy has no rules, regulations, or whatever. I'm from Reseda, 818 till I die. I'm in The Hangover. There's no reason why I should be in that #1 movie, but I made it. I drove a Pinto. There should be no reason for me, once I drove that Pinto, for me to ever have sex again. I've had sex over 20 times in my life. I'm doing things based off positivity. Deathsquad is positive. Let's give it up for Deathsquad. Yes. Deathsquad, check it in. Deathsquad, Hollywood, stronger than ever. You got it. You guys get to be involved in tonight's show. You're going to get to ask questions. I'm here right now warming you up. I'll do a quick interplay because I'm handling this show. Redban said to me, he said, Brody, I trust you. You've done over 2,000 audience warm-up television shows for successful shows like The Man Show. You've been at Jimmy Kimmel. You've done Chelsea.
I actually never said that, Brody.
Okay, but keep it positive, Brian. Keep it positive. I'm trying to do audience warm-up where I'm brought in for the top shows, and I consider this a top show. When Deathsquad calls, I pick up. When other shows call, I don't pick up. I send it straight to voicemail. This is a show that I pick up and that I get. Brian's preparing. Let's go ahead and talk to you. Where are you visiting from, buddy? Riverside, give him a nice hand. Yes, get used to applauding people from Riverside off the 91 freeway. This is a better microphone? No, you can have 2 mics. Well, I don't need 2, right? I'm just going to keep it real, but
the audio listeners can't hear the questions from the audience.
No, but when I go back up to how dare you tell me I use 1 mic, I use 2 kettlebells at one time. See, I'm right here. Stephen Brody Stevens. Watch this. I go, hey there, how you doing? What's your name?
Jed.
Jed. See, 1 mic, conversation, complete. Now let's go to another level. Jed, you live here in L.A. or were you visiting? Or I'll start with that. Do you live in L.A. or are you visiting?
I'm from L.A. I live in Atlanta currently. I'm just visiting here.
I like that he's back. He came home from his roots. We got that. We know that Jed now lives in Atlanta, the New York City of the South. He's from L.A. He moved there, but he's originally from here, and he chose to be here tonight. He could have been anywhere. Where did you grow up in L.A., Jed?
All around West L.A.
All around West L.A. He could be over by the beach tonight, but he says, you know what? I want to be with Deathsquad, celebrating the burn, celebrating positive energy. I'm down in Atlanta. It can get depressing down there sometimes, so the heat and the humidity. I'm back in L.A. I'm stronger than ever. My name is Jed, and I support live entertainment. Is that correct?
Correct. Powerful Stephen Brody Stevens.
Yeah, you got it. Jed, you seem a little drunk. If you are, that's okay. Are you drunk?
No, but I'm working on it.
Working on it. All right, let's do a little more, couple crowd works, and then you're going to see the rest of the show. Tonight's show is a great show. This is a show that the ticket to it would probably be up on StubHub, meaning that people want this gig, all right? You're going to see Jeff Ross. This guy sells out theaters. This guy hosts one of the top shows on Comedy Central. How often have you seen a show on Comedy Central that you see once and then it's gone? This show came back. 2nd season. Let's give it up for Brian Redban for putting this together. Deathsquad Unite! Yes, I will stab. And we have an artist here tonight. You want me to go ahead and... Hi, my name is Stephen Brody Stevens. I am on Twitter. I just joined Vine. And what's your name?
I'm Megan.
Megan. And Megan is here. She is... I'm going to let her explain what she's doing, but I know she is an artist. And I will let Megan, because we have 1 microphone, explain exactly what she is active in this show. Oh, you're going to do the 2 mics, okay?
Thank you.
Then we have to do a mic check. And now it's awkward. Now we have 2 mics, but it's Brian's show. I get it. I've done over 2,000 audience warm-ups. 1 mic. But Brian wants to do 2 mics. I'm willing to play. I adjust. I'm flexible. I played sports. I do kettlebells. I can take direction. Go ahead, Megan,
Okay.
back to you. Stephen Brody Stevens, you
Yes.
got it. I'm
All right.
good.
Do you remember me from last time?
Yeah, you drew last week or the
No,
week before.
It was like a month ago.
You do look familiar. Your name sounds familiar. Where were you?
Okay.
You did draw here?
I did.
Okay. So are you going to draw something different this time? Obviously, there's a
Yes.
different cast.
I think I drew you riding a panda rocket last time.
Oh,
Do you
because
remember
I
that?
probably mentioned Panda Express. I have to look back on my I have to back on my
Look over your
Instagram.
notes.
I wish, I should have followed up on you. You're attractive. You're an artist. I'm an artist. I'm not very attractive.
Kiss her. Kiss her.
No, I'm not going to
kiss.
make it uncomfortable. I'm not going to make
Kiss her.
Hey, Brian, stop it. How dare you? I had to fight off Tony last time. Now I'm fighting off you to kiss the artist. I'm not going to do that. I drove a Pinto in high school, and that really set me back about 7 years in terms of romance and confidence. I also crapped my pants in 1st grade, and because I was too nervous to go to the bathroom, and that set me back about 3 years. But you know what? My mom came and picked me up, and the next day I transferred to another school. Those kids never saw me again. Who's more mentally effed up, me or them? The kid who crapped his pants, and they never saw him again. The mystery. Or me having to, start over again. Is it weird to crap? Megan, let me ask you a question. You have the mic. Is it weird for a child in the 70s to defecate in his pants in 1st grade?
Yes.
Oh, it's normal?
No, it's not normal. It's weird.
Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. There you go.
You learn to control your bowel movements when you're about 4-ish.
But, okay.
3, maybe.
Okay, what about as a 42-year-old man, as I am now? it's a little more acceptable actually with coffee and power
And
walking
incontinence.
and things like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying as a first grader it was weird.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody here want to offer another angle from Megan? Maybe somebody here crapped their pants in second grade. Anybody here crapped their pants in class in grammar school for 1K through 6? Anybody? Jed, have you?
No, I haven't, but I don't. It's not.
Megan, put the mic in Jeb's area. Jed with a D.
Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed.
Okay, talk in the mic and tell me
there we go.
crapping my pants as a first grader.
Yeah, it's not totally normal, but it's not like crazy insane. It can
I
happen.
also spent 17 days in the UCLA psych ward 40 years later, like Michael Myers. Yes, I escaped.
that
got
causes
out.
more
People are
question
looking
marks than
You know,
the
you got a lot of
incident.
people. You got a lot of people looking after that Dorn character, that cop guy. Some people are watching me too. I went nuts. I went off my meds cold turkey, but I made it back. I've got a Comedy Central special. Yes, thank you for your support. And I'll tell you what, I wish I could hang out all night. But Brian said, you know what, Brody? You're one of the better audience warm-ups. Don Barris is great. You're great. There's some other great audience warm-ups. Don's going to do his Ding Dong show later. Why don't you come down here and warm up the audience like you do at the Burn with Jeff Ross, because I got to get going. I want to stick around, and Brian gave me that opportunity. I'll tell you what, Brian is pro-artist. If you're an artist and you have something to say, it's all about freedom of speech, because I was in Arizona over the weekend. There's not freedom of speech there. It's very unorganic. It's hard sometimes. And I like it. It's a nice getaway to go to Arizona, but when you come back to L.A., it makes you appreciate the organic energy, not from from the people. The people in the hills give off the energy. In Arizona, the rocks and stuff give off the energy. Bottom line is, you as people are giving me the energy tonight, and I want to say thank you very much. Are you guys ready to have a great podcast? I can't hear you. Are you ready to have a great podcast? Push it. Crank it. Here we go. Stephen Brody Stevens, the rodeo. Yes. Push and believe. You got it. Hanging at the coffee bean. Follow me on Instagram or Vine if you can. And Megan will be drawing the faces. Jeff Ross and his comedy aces. They will be here. And you don't cheer. And it hurts, my dear. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. You're going to have fun tonight. Brian's going to take over. We got Thibault. We've got Jeff Ross. We've got his sidekick, Ed Larson. We've got the writers. We've got the producers of one of the top shows on Comedy Central, The Burn, everybody. Give it up for The Burn. Yeah, come on. Push, push, push. Get into it. Crank it up a bit. Here comes the crew. And I'm a
Guys,
Jew.
give it up for Brody Stevens, everyone.
Good job, Brody. That's a professional warm-up, you guys. Usually when somebody warms up, you get to throw menus at them, but not tonight. That was a pro.
Yeah. Guys, this is the Deathsquad Secret Show Special Edition. I'm Brian Redban. This is Jayson Thibault. Thank
Hooray.
you guys for coming tonight. We have a great fucking show tonight.
We do.
This is probably our biggest, most exciting one, I think. What have you been doing since I last saw you besides
Just pretty
dressing at H&M or whatever is going on?
Yeah, I'm a mannequin for AIDS patients, and that's been a lot less lucrative than you think it would be.
You're one of the few people that can actually wear H&M clothes. I can't. I tried to put a suit on. The largest suit at H&M, I couldn't fit in.
Women's medium, that's
Yeah.
my size.
Yeah.
Women's medium. Fits me like a glove. Shows my tits off nicely. What have you been up to? You were in Miami or somewhere.
Yeah. I twice this month I had to give my thumbprint at a strip club. Have you ever done that? Have you ever been so drunk that you
I've had to do it a couple hours later at a police station from being at a strip club, but never.
No, like if you spend a certain amount of money over, I don't know what it is, like $300, you have to sign contracts like rappers do. Like you have to put your initials down in multiple places and do a thumbprint while the girls are already on your lap. They like the manager just comes in. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, how's it going? Thank you." Oh, and then suddenly this manager just walks in, like halfway through, and you're doing all this paperwork while the stripper is just sitting there with my belt. She took my belt off, put it around my head, and like was choking me on it. I don't even like that.
That's actually under duress. You're actually signing your name under. If anything goes like wrong legally, you can be like, "Hey, man, I was getting choked out by a stripper. I didn't mean to sign that."
I could sue, right?
Probably.
Let's do it. As we were saying earlier with Brody, if you've never been to this the Death Squad Secret Show, we always have a sketch room artist. Pretty much, we have a bunch of friends that are comic book artists and just illustrators and stuff. So we bring one every week. She sketches what she wants to sketch about this podcast. And then we eBay it, and then she gets all the money. So it's a way to help the starving artist. And you can find Megan at blackm_art. Easiest way is just go to deathsquad.tv and bid on her drawing. How are you doing, Megan?
I'm good. How are you doing, Brian?
Do you have any idea what you're going to do today?
Well, I already started Brody vomiting a rainbow.
It's a good start.
That's great. Your last one.
Foreshadowing, they call that.
Last time, the last one you did was one of my favorites because you had Brody riding a magical panda bear. You're addicted to panda bears.
I am. Have I given you a panda bear? No.
Is that a sex
Is that some
thing?
sort of? Yeah, that's my question. Yeah. That's where she fists you and ties a belt around your neck while you put all your thumbprints on a.
Black and white.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to what a panda bear is.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, so we'll take a look at her drawing at the end of the podcast, guys. Give it up for Megan.
Hooray!
Well, let's do this. Let's get the crew on board.
Let's
What
do this.
we've pretty much collected Jeff Ross and some of all of them, almost all the writers for the show. If you haven't seen the Burn on Comedy Central, it's one of the few shows that Comedy Central is actually kicking ass on. I think it's
hilarious.
Yeah, it's one of the very few shows that actually DVR nowadays.
And what's so cool about it is and that's why we want to do this show because they just wrapped Friday, but all of our friends work on this show.
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
And that's it's like an incestuous family show.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
For scumbags at the Comedy Store. So
why don't you introduce them? Thibault?
We'll start with one of my personal favorites, the best, number one, Tony Hinchcliffe, writer for The Burn. One of my favorites. He knows it. Also, I believe his writer as well, but I believe his title is researcher. Ed Larson, everybody. Where is he? Is he here? He could have been outside smoking pot. Ed looks like the kind of guy that always has pot on him. Whether that's true or not.
I want to be a researcher. Does that mean you just Google all day? Jesus, I can't wait
That
to
means
see
you
what
always have pot on
researching-
you. From Murder Fist, and I went and saw a sketch comedy show the other night. Absolutely fucking hilarious.
Murder
And I don't throw that around. It's really funny, man. I'm still laughing about it. Who else? Let's see. Is Benji here?
Yeah, he is.
All right, then let's
see his
bring
sweet
him up.
little face.
This guy's rich, and it's not because of his money. His parents are successful. Benji Aflalo, everybody.
One of the only few parties I've ever been to
Dang.
is Benji's brother, and he had tigers at the party.
Yeah, of course.
That was ridiculous.
It's
Have
not
you
a
ever
party
been to a party
unless
with
there's a tiger
tigers?
there.
Baby tigers. It was awesome.
And why not bring the captain of the ship up? This guy is one of the funniest comics working. You know him as a roast master general and the captain of the ship of the Burn, Jeff Ross, everybody.
Yeah. Brody was hilarious. That's how he when I first met Brody doing audience warm-up, by the way, he scared the shit out of me. It was at the Man Show, and I lived in Ohio, and I went back, and I was like, this Brody guy scared the fuck out of me. It was so scary. He made us clap, and he was like really serious and yelling at me the whole time. But now that you know him, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not as. It looks like the kind of guy that might puke up a rainbow.
Right.
While riding a panda. Let's see who. Oh, of course we got head writer of the show, I believe, and I hope that is your title because it is now. And this guy's been a writer in Hollywood for a long time, but one of the original Death Squad members because he used to tour with Rogan before any of us were allowed to. Chris McGuire, everybody.
Yeah.
And last but not least, she has a puppy in her hand, and if I have any say-so in it, she's going to have a baby in her hand pretty soon. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah Tiana.
Woo! You just got a new dog?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
He's awesome, too, by the way.
I felt like if I brought him up, he would be distracted.
We'll have to share this.
That dog looks like it's going to get really, really, really big. And you're usually really, really drunk and horny when you come home.
Yep. That's exactly right. So he can bite the ass of some stranger that I shouldn't be sleeping with. That's perfect.
Or a friend that you've known for a long time. Doesn't have to be a stranger. Doesn't have to be a stranger at all. I've been bitten in the ass by dogs plenty of times.
Now, you guys can totally take these mics out of these stands. These are just for fun and try to share them around. But, guys, thank you so much for coming. As a big fan of the show, it's really cool to see that the people behind the show are all people that I'm actually friends with and know. So it's crazy, Jeff, that you got this group together. Do you feel like you have just the power team right now of writers and people? Or
those people had plans on Friday night. This is the bench.
Sometimes the bench has to start. Sometimes Kobe's hurt, you know what I mean?
What's that?
Sometimes Kobe's hurt and the bench has to play, you know? Like
All right. I can't believe I walked upstairs for this.
It's good for the cardio. It's good for the cardio.
Now, Jeff, one of the craziest things is that shooter that's down in that's killing all the cops and stuff in San Diego.
Yep. You knew this was coming, bro.
What's his name?
Rambro. I think his name's Rambro.
He listed you on the list. How do you feel about that? Is that crazy? Is that
I'm thrilled.
That freak you out?
What kind of fucking question is that?
I mean,
how do I feel about the guy who's running around right now killing people?
Well,
that's a great question.
You mean
Who
LL
included
Cool
your
J?
name in his manifesto?
Are you mad because you were the last one on the list of the comics listed? At least maybe you have 11 to go through. Like
No comment on this one. This is like a congressional hearing.
Do you know where he is?
I want to speak to Valachi right now.
I'm sorry for bringing that up. I just think that if it was me, it would be flattering in a weird way, but also kind of creepy as fuck. I don't know how I would react to it. I just
Well said, Redban.
Yeah, that pretty much nails it.
I think it's awesome.
That's perfect. That's how I feel.
Sarah, you think it's awesome?
I do.
You're obsessed with him, though. You've said
I'm
that.
obsessed with him. Yeah. I think his manifesto was so entertaining.
I mean, what manifesto isn't? It's like a 23-page letter. Anytime it's it never is a manifesto not been written by a crazy person. You know what I mean? It's like
Jerry McGuire, though. Remember when he wrote
talking about real people.
Yeah, but he wrote that. What was it? A mission statement?
Yeah, this is. I guess you could call it a mission statement. A manifesto really is just a long suicide note. That's what I feel like.
He's not.
They're gonna find this guy dead.
They're never gonna find him. There's no way.
He's already gone.
He's
This
gonna-
guy's far in Mexico.
Yeah.
He's having a great time.
Yeah, he bought scuba gear the other day. TMZ just showed him buying scuba gear. Yeah.
I'll beat the system. I'm gonna live under the sea.
A black guy wearing scuba gear. That's crazy.
Right, yeah, that's not fucking. That doesn't stand out like a sore thumb.
He's probably hanging out in Mexico in the only place that gets Comedy Central.
Right. He's like, I know the one place they won't look for a black guy, in the water. Well played, Brambro. Well played. So you guys wrapped. You guys are done. Friday was the last one. And then when you guys find out if you're back up for another one, because it seems like it's a funny ass show. It seems like it's doing well.
We find out yesterday.
You did find out already. Oh, I was like, wow, that's fast.
We don't know.
Our season finale is tomorrow.
Right.
When does this run?
Probably like late January.
2014.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And we're talking about 11 months from now.
I see Benji already started his job as a valet parker. How is it over at the Staples Center these days?
You do look like a Staples Center guy.
It's good, you know, a lot of egos, but, you park the cars, you move forward.
Move forward.
Ed looks like the devil from the Tenacious D live shows. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
How many times do you get asked for pot just randomly from people, like at concerts and
No
stuff?
one
You're
would
the
ever-
go-to guy.
No one would ever dare ask me for my weed.
No, they ask him for strips of acid instead.
I can see that. I can see that too. It's like if I'm like in a pinch and I'm like at a concert or something, I'm like, this guy's got to have something for me.
I'll tell you
know
what
I
they
mean?
don't ask him for, a clean T-shirt.
I could see that. I could see that.
Fun fact about Ed in the writers' room is he barely ever keeps his shoes on, so that's a big ongoing joke constantly.
Shoes are the Satan service.
You should see him around the house. That's how he goes to the office with no shoes on. Imagine how he looks around the house.
Just like, but I imagine like underwear with holes in them.
I have a sock thong that I made myself. It's 7 socks tied together, and it's my new underwear.
Oh. Yeah. Let's see it. I wouldn't imagine you're wearing it right
no,
now.
I did laundry today, so I was wearing the sock thong for a week. I cleaned it in the sink, but it's fine.
Wow.
Damn, I just use paper towels. You're going all out.
Question for Redban.
Yes.
You use paper towels for what?
No, like when you're out of underwear, back in the day when you didn't have
some-
washing machines, you just, put a paper towel down.
Back in
Put
what
it down
day?
where? Another question for Redban. You put a paper towel down where?
Like you just in the crack. You just kind of.
Another question for Redban.
When you're broke and you don't have laundry machines.
But you're saying this outlandish shit like it's commonplace for everybody.
Right.
It's like, dude, when I run out of clothes, it's just
Yeah.
a banana and an avocado. Right, everybody? It's like, what?
Yeah, back in the day, between August and September of 2002.
Since when does a paper towel in your asshole?
If you think about it, it's a lot cleaner because you usually have to change it like 4 times a day.
It stops the leak.
That's right.
Only Ed.
Your asshole is leaking?
No, but when you fart, usually a tear comes out.
Redban,
Right?
are you not alarmed that only Ed finds logic in all of this?
No.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
So when you go out with a paper towel stuck between your ass cheeks, are you basically giving up on getting laid that night?
No, you like.
Or is there a way that you have to explain that to a girl when you
It's
take
a
your
different
pants
sort
off?
of lady, Tony.
The kind that'll take the paper
Yeah.
towel away with her teeth.
Yeah, they're called bag ladies. I think they're called bag ladies.
That's the post-cum rag.
That surprises you. That surprises you out of him.
I know, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. But
Yeah.
it still doesn't mean it's not mortifying.
I'm sorry.
No,
That-
forget it.
Say that.
Chris,
Can I drink on camera?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
of
can.
course.
This is a really cool network. You didn't even ask me to Dutch out the Heineken.
No, you.
Chris, I met you probably
A long time ago.
13 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
I met you doing stand-up comedy. It was in Columbus,
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you were the 3rd comic I ever saw.
Really?
And you were one of
And-
my favorites.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
Who were the other two?
the
Carrot
first one,
Top and
Gallagher.
Yeah, right.
Jeff Dunham.
Gallagher's brother, not even the real Gallagher. Yeah.
it was Doug Stanhope,
Oh, Doug
Joe Rogan, and that one guy that died. I can't remember now. I
Oh,
forget.
wow.
Oh,
That had
way to-
cancer. That his stomach got Rob.
Ron Chalk?
Huh?
Way to
I
really
don't know,
pay him a
whatever.
tribute.
Let's bring the room down.
Yeah, I know.
And that one dead guy.
But what now? You don't do stand-up comedy anymore, do you?
Not so much. No.
Not at all. or
I did it every now and then.
Does it? You don't miss it? Did you ever
I do
have
miss
the?
it. I miss it. I'm a paid regular at the Comedy Store. I am a paid regular at the
Go
Comedy
downstairs
Store.
and get 3 minutes. If you're
No,
willing to
I
wait till
I feel like
2:15.
I'm not verified. My name never got painted.
I think I've seen it.
You have you really? Okay. Can you show me where it is?
That's kind of important.
I have no idea. I'm sure it got bumped off the wall by Eddie Griffin. That's an old reference from 12 years ago when he used to come by here.
No, he still does it.
So when you first came to the Comedy Store, how long did it take? Did you start off
Here,
or did you?
No,
start
Boston.
Boston.
I started in Boston. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
where I met Joe.
All right, so you've
Yeah.
known Joe for a long time.
A really long time.
And you every time I go to a live taping of a TV show or anything, you're always working there. Have you been writing since, or?
I'm mainly catering, and I've worked a fair amount. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going back to comedy?
Going back to comedy?
Yeah.
I try to. I would like to do that sometime.
You can you have a free ticket anytime you want to go to any Death Squad shows. You can go
Oh,
up
thank
and
you.
do
Oh, I love that.
how 10, 15 minutes, whatever.
Can I
you
get
want.
free chicken strips that fucking
Yes, you
Ed's
can.
eating all up?
Don't push it, bro.
Yeah, chicken strips make great underwear if you don't.
That's why
Can
I'm
you
the
make
best.
a sock thong out of chicken strips, Ed?
Well, yeah, it's better to use the uncooked but not frozen, so they're looser and they can bend.
You know way too much about
And a stapler. And a stapler.
Wow.
Jeff, have you ever done an attack on somebody or a joke on somebody that turned bad where they attacked you? I mean, like
physically,
anyone,
you mean?
Like, yeah. Did anyone? Have you been assaulted from something you've said to somebody before?
Yes.
Many times.
On the roads, getting speed roasted, people will occasionally hit me. Tony is a witness to many, many times where.
Yeah, that's when he asks for. We'd be in a theater, and he would ask for volunteers from the audience that want to come up and get speed roasted. So these people would actually come on the stage, and it was normally women that would him.
Always.
Because
Don't I know it?
They come out with, like a boob, their boobs sticking out of some crazy halter top, or, it's Vegas, it's all
So
glitzy.
they expect him to make fun of that.
But you wind up making fun of their teeth or something. And fucking slug you.
Yeah.
They do not
What's
see
that?
it coming.
Richard Branson?
Oh, yeah, one
that's
time
good.
Richard Branson, at the end of the roast, he was a surprise roast, which is never a good idea. And he seemed to take it well. And we roasted him in Toronto for some charity, and his friends basically hired me to go to Toronto, and they asked me, I said, well, is he going to have a rebuttal? And they said, no, it's going to be a surprise. He's a prankster. We're going to prank him back. And I did all these terrible, mean jokes about how weird looking he is. I can't remember, but how white his teeth are, and how he looks like John Denver and stuff. I don't know. It was
The president of virgins.
Yeah. And at the end of it, he gave me a hug, and he just poured his drink out on the top of my head.
From a billionaire.
From a billionaire.
I know.
Left speechless.
Yeah.
Did he ask you to pay for the drink?
No, but
Oh,
it
that's good.
was very expensive wine, so in a way I was sort of flattered.
He seems like he would be a cool guy, though, no? He seems like he'd be a cool guy, like sense of humor and can take a joke.
Well, I just told that whole
I
story.
mean, other than him pouring that out on your head, yeah.
But that's cool.
Now Gilbert's been, he has said things that kind of got him into some trouble. Like after the Japanese thing. Have you ever held back? Have you thought of something like I want to say this so bad, it's so fucking funny, but you know what? I'm just not gonna do it.
One time I had a crazy joke about Kanye's mom. And I was telling it to Gilbert on the phone. And I said, I got this one joke I wish I could do. And I told him the joke, and he goes, it was like, it's about Joan Rivers. Even Kanye's mom has a better plastic surgeon than you.
Oh, shit.
I said, I don't know. I said, that's too fucked up. I can't do that joke. And Gilbert goes, I'll do it. And that's what made me think that I had to do it. So I wound up doing it, and I'm still alive.
Is there anybody that you would I would not want to roast this person? Is there somebody that you're if they asked you to you're like, fuck, man.
You.
All right, there's no real reason to roast me other than me.
No, it's got to be a good person. You don't want to roast.
Some people are harder than others, though.
Right.
If they're too nice or something, if there's not a lot of dirt on them, there's not a lot to make fun of,
Right.
That's why Sheen was so perfect.
Yeah, we roasted Betty White. If they're old enough, anything's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had it as a luncheon because we didn't think she was going to make it till dinner. She took it well. Yeah, I don't know. I think if we proved anything on The Burn is that we can roast inanimate objects, people, places, things.
Right.
Pretty much we can make anything, even a concept. We took 5 teachers to a gun range and roasted the idea of arming teachers. So, yeah, it's roasting is not about celebrities all the time anymore.
It seems like you have a show that could almost be like a weekly show. would you ever want to do that, or do you kind of like the mini vacations in between?
It is a
It
weekly
is.
show. It's a weekly show.
No, I mean, but you go through
we
seasons.
did 6, and then we take a long break.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like it this way because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's roasting is it's full time. You know, Tony passed out here one night. We were working so hard. He doesn't
Two nights actually, but it's
Yeah.
all good.
It's not like Jeff doesn't come into work and not give a shit every day. You know, it's like the roasting doesn't turn off. And we all get so used to it that we start making fun of each other on a daily basis. And so it's a very different work environment.
You have to sort of come out of it. It takes a little while. You can't stay like that all the time. You get pretty wound up.
Yeah.
You go home and you start saying fucked up shit to your family.
I know. I went home for Christmas and my niece is like 6 years old and I'm like, really? You're going to wear that? What are you, Taylor Swift's old grandma? You know, it's just like, huh? She doesn't get the reference. And I'm like, oh, yeah. You're mean. I got to calm down.
What little kids are crying at Christmas.
know,
You're like, you get a clue.
What was it like talking to the God Hate Fags guys? That was so uncomfortable
Westboro?
just to watch. Were you nervous at all about that, or? And how did that even happen? How did they even say, "Hey, we will talk to you"? Well, we know who you are. We want to talk to you. Was it that easy? Just to
No, it was Virginia's idea to do it. We were in Kansas City, and they're like an hour and a half from Kansas City where we were, and yeah, they came out. They made a sign. I had a stomach ache the whole time because it was like talking to a Nazi or a Klan member or something. So you never know. Like, is somebody just going to shoot us? Right. Like, how weird is this? Can some other weirdo think I'm one of them because I'm standing out here? And then, so it was a precarious spot to be in. But it was also Christmas and freezing out, so there was that going on. We were just shivering.
It was Christmas Day, right?
Yeah.
Wow. It's where you're supposed to go to church on Christmas Day. So.
Yeah, they're super religious, those guys.
They actually think that, whatever they think is stupid. But no, they didn't have big Christmas plans. The Phelps family. I said they're the most hated family in America after Medea's family.
Is there anybody that you're like celebrity-wise, you're like, I would love a chance to roast this person, whether you could or couldn't, or it hasn't happened yet? Like, who's on the radar if you're like, man, I'd love a shot at this guy or girl or whatever?
I don't know. A politician would be fun.
Yeah,
Bill Clinton would be a great roast.
Oh, Clinton would be great. Clinton would be great.
Nelson Mandela seems like he'd be he'd be up for pretty much anything.
What about the Pope?
The Pope, actually, the retired Pope would be a whole new angle. That would be good. I haven't done the. Yeah. What's that?
All right.
Can anybody guess who the schizophrenic in the audience is?
It's the historian for the Catholic Church.
Thanks, Schizo. No one can hear you over there, so please be quiet. Yeah, it seemed like when I heard the whole Pope thing, my mind just went crazy with jokes. Do you kind of wish that you had one more week to do?
It does kill me.
Yeah.
That would have been really fun.
Definitely, it would have been a no-brainer. That would have been.
I know
for sure.
he's retiring to spend more time with his wife and kids.
Or just the kids.
Just the kids.
Yeah, just the kids. Just the kids. Yeah, just the kids.
I think it's brave that he would leave being Pope to run the Penn State football program.
It's a linear progression, though, I feel.
But he should wear the same shit he wears as Pope, but back in the regular life. He's like a Walgreens with a red hat on.
You're behind him in line. You're like, you're using a check? Get together, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, what does Pope retirement look like? Those guys die in the Vatican.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the kid. It must have been really deep.
What the fuck?
This is a great time.
Nothing.
We're having a great time.
What the fuck are you? What's wrong with you, bro?
Do you think at like a pope's funeral they just crucify his dead body in front of everybody?
That should be the move. That would be great.
That dog wishes it was back at the orphanage again.
Anyway, yeah. You rescued me for this? I'll go back in the kennel.
Yeah.
Now
Are you
going to
be like
nap? What the fuck's going on here? Is
Are you
this
gonna
even
be
a
like?
show?
Are you going to be like the new Eliza Schlesinger, and you're going to bring this dog everywhere you go? True or false?
No, false. He can't stay at home yet. He's too little. He's only 9 weeks.
That's only 9 weeks, that dog.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Whatever. We're not talking about the dog. Sorry, he doesn't like to be held by other people right
What's his name?
His name's Lieutenant Pete Mitchell, but I call him Maverick.
Sarah no longer has to get a husband.
Yeah. If that's not a girl naming a dog, I don't know what is.
I don't know. I don't need a husband. I have a dog now. That's why I got a dog. Go ahead.
You need some help.
The whole time.
Thanks for wearing the the squirting flower today. Really appreciate that.
Clown school. I cannot tell you how much fodder I gave these guys because I wear a lot of hats to work, and oh my gosh, every day it's like, oh, thanks for taking time off from the fish stick factory to be here.
You have that one equestrian hat that you like to wear? Ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I know that hat.
It's entertaining for you guys. Chris wouldn't even wear certain things to work. 'Cause he knew that
I literally would be very careful what I wore to work.
he would change his outfits because he didn't want us to make fun of him.
Yeah, that was one of the things also that we would do around the office is we played this game called Talking Shirt where we would just talk.
What, did the show end 15 years ago?
I know, exactly.
What is this, your show of shows? It was fucking 3 days ago. Who
That's
gives
what
a
I'm
shit?
saying.
This is
I'm talking about,
crazy.
I'm letting the inside jokes out. Another thing that we do around the office is we talk shirt to each other where we make fun of what we're wearing.
12 episodes. You're giving yourselves a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah, I know. That does seem to be what's happening here.
What's behind?
Asked us here.
Hey.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Jeff, what's behind your production company? The name? What's Enough with the Bread already?
It's based on my food addiction. There's a poem in my act called
You want to
Enough
finish
with the
swallowing
Bread.
your chicken before you talk about your food addiction?
I thought we were on a commercial break.
An appropriate time to ask him.
Yeah, when we're down to what the meaning of my production company placard that ends in the last 4 seconds of every episode. You know, when we're down to that question, Brian, that we've really covered it all.
Well, as a fan of the show, it's just something I always wondered because everyone has a production company name. It's always silly and weird, and yours is just like, what the fuck is that all about?
Enough with the Bread already is a poem that my dad wrote for my mom. You have any? Can you play any romantic music?
Of course.
Your smile blooms like a bright summer flower. Your hair flows down like a soft rain shower. Your eyes are like open seas, blue from coast to coast. So how come your ass looks like a truck? Enough with the bread already.
It's great.
I like how the music comes in after it's done.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Can we get you on the show? That'll be.
All right. Yeah.
I've seen hostage videos with more production value.
Jeff, how long have you been here at the Comedy Store? Like, when did you first come here? Did you start here also?
No, I mean, I've been working here, I don't know, probably about, must be 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
Is this your home club, or
I don't know. I consider L.A. home, and there's 3 clubs here that I do all the time.
That's cool. Did
How old I just want to say this. How old were you when you first started doing stand-up? Because I remember specifically, and we talked about this at the Improv, when I remember where I was watching you, because I just started doing stand-up, and I've always been obsessed with it, and I was watching Letterman, and he gave you a big intro of, like, this is his first television debut, and not only did you kill, and I'm not saying that to suck your dick, because we can do that after the show, but I remember him saying that specifically, and I remember you killing, but I remember physically on your face, you could see that you felt like every joke, like, God, it's working. Yeah. It really did come across like that. Cut to a few years later, I'm at the Friars Club with Jeff Richards. He was stalking 4 girls, and I was along for the ride with him. And we met you, and you and Richards were friends at the time. And when I met, and I had that moment, I'm like, oh my God! And I told you that story. And I go, when I saw you, you killed it, and I could physically see on your face that you really. It was this, like, culminating moment where it really seemed like you were becoming who you wanted to become, and it really was on Letterman, which is a dream gig. And you were with a girl at the time, and I told you this story. And I'm like, and it was so cool to see, like, you were being actualized. You really could see it. And you go, tell that to her.
Yeah. No, that was a very cool time. That was the most exciting thing ever.
Really, huh?
Yeah, because the Ed Sullivan Theater was right in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah.
You couldn't even do a spot uptown at a comedy club without passing the Ed Sullivan Theater, Late Show with David Letterman. You know, that was it. If you didn't get Letterman, or worse yet, went on Letterman and bombed on Letterman, you could no longer drive through Times Square.
Wow. That's
it
the
would have
rule.
been too painful.
How long had you been doing stand-up at that time, by the time you booked Letterman?
About 6-7 years, 6
Right,
years
yeah.
maybe. Yeah, and I had auditioned a whole bunch of times. Eventually, Chappelle put a good word in for me, and it was like my 7th or 8th or 9th audition or something. Yeah.
Did Dave say anything to you after that? After the set?
He was very, very cool, very gracious. Sat me down on the couch for the goodbye thing, and I just said thanks, man, 6 times in like 14 seconds or something. He's like, hey, great job, good luck. I was just like, thanks, man, thanks, man, thanks, man. And he plugged a show that I was doing in Atlantic City or something. I got booked the night before, and I was in L.A. for the first time. Very exciting to be in L.A. for the first time, and got the call that George Clooney canceled. It was a Thursday. He was a red-hot actor on ER, and for some reason he got stuck in L.A., and they said, so I did a couple spots. I came by here on my way to the airport, and I don't even think I checked out of the hotel. I think I just left.
Wow.
Caught a red eye at 10 o'clock at night and landed in New York and slept a few hours in my apartment. And I had a suit. I happened to have a suit because I'd gone to a wedding or something. So I was ready. April 13th, 1995.
You'll never forget it. Is it the kind of, how many times did you watch it after? Like it's
none really.
Oh, really?
They don't. There was no YouTube. You didn't really. I got a VHS.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
It's like
I
you're
don't
just
know.
constantly rewinding, just watching.
Yeah, if someone out there has it, post it.
I'm surprised it's not. Is it not on YouTube? I'm
I haven't
surprised
seen
it's not.
it. I haven't seen it.
Wow. Somebody look that up.
Yeah,
What are
somebody
you
post
fucking
that. And then
Wi-Fi
tweet us
nerds
it.
in here. Jordan,
Thanks for
Jordan with the
remembering that.
question. No, I'll always remember that. When I met you, it was such a cool moment for me because I really remember that. Jordan.
You guys always have a lot of like kind of modern comics. Is there a chance that you'd have like Don Rickles or somebody kind of like classic on?
On the burn?
Well, he's not funny enough, really. We really hoping
Let's
to
get a
Bro-
resume together, Rickles.
Really hoping to get Brody back one more time.
Maybe if Don Rickles had a tambourine, that might work.
Yeah, did you have favorites growing up, Jeff? Were you a fan of comedy growing? Like, were you a fan of Johnny Carson or anything
course.
weird like that? Or
I was into the comics that were on Johnny Carson, like Rickles and Buddy Hackett.
Sure.
I used to hang out the top of the stairs where my parents couldn't tell I was up. So I didn't see what they looked like, but I could hear them. I could hear my parents watching it. And I remember the voices and stuff and the kind of the feel of it, but I never really saw it till. But as far as when I was into comedy, it was all in high school, the rock and roll comics. You know, Eddie Murphy in his leather suit and the Blues
Sure.
Brothers and Cheech and Chong and guys that were doing like stadium acts. I didn't even think of them as comedians. They just seemed like rock stars. I didn't even.
And they were
Eddie
rock
Murphy, I
stars
went to
back
see him at the Capitol Theater in Passaic with my high school buddies, and he had a band open for, you know. There was no distinction between comedy and music to us. I didn't even get that I was seeing comedy when I watched Cheech and Chong or the Blues Brothers, or that was, you know, it's all the same.
And Chris, when you came in Boston, when did you start in Boston?
1990.
So that's like a hotbed back then. Was that?
Yeah.
That was like slightly post, like Stephen Wright. He had already blown up, or was in the midst of it.
Yeah, it was after that. It was the guys that came up with it, like Patrice O'Neill and Bill Burr and those guys. Yeah. Yep.
Boston's just a hot. Why is Boston such a hotbed of comedy?
Was like you don't really see much of a. I mean, the scene in Boston I heard is pretty small now. I mean, it still exists, but last time I went to Boston, maybe 2 years ago, it wasn't like what it used to be. I don't think. Why do you think that is? Well, like comedy just leaves the city.
I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of there are a lot of smaller rooms doing stuff like that. There's like the Hong Kong and things like that. They're much smaller rooms. The big clubs kind of either got bigger or they went out of business. It's like the Wilbur Theater now is the big room, I guess. But like Nick's is gone pretty much, I think.
Yeah, I heard there's pretty much one guy that's like holding on to that's like really behind the Boston scene now.
Yeah.
And that's just weird to see that just comedy leave. I mean, because there's so many greats came from Boston and the East Coast.
Yeah, Stephen Wright for me. I loved Stephen Wright.
Oh my God, he's great.
Just like
even his last special, whichever one he did on Comedy Central like 2 or 3 years ago, is unbelievable, ridiculous. Every 7 seconds, another joke. You're just like, how the fuck is he coming up with that now?
Yeah, when I was in I want to say 6th or 7th grade, grew up in Chicago area, and that's like so we're talking mid '80s. Stephen Wright did the Tonight Show, blew up,
right?
And then now he's a touring headliner. And I was too young to get into comedy clubs, and my mom went and watched him and old school recorder, and just recorded his set. So I can that whole summer. It's all his hour-long set. Just listen to it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's crazy.
Oh, he does colleges now, right? Doesn't he do colleges?
I would imagine. I mean, imagine.
Let me tell you this. Me and Bobby Lee did this Methodist University together, and
already sounds like a recipe for destruction.
Yeah, I think it was in Michigan or something, and they go, you have to really be clean because the last comic said he was going to be clean, and then he crucified himself on the stage. And it was Stephen Wright, set up a crucifix and everything at this Methodist university. And they were like, you got to keep it clean. And I was like, all right, I'll try not to say the F word.
Stephen Wright, the Laugh Factory always has, they have, waitresses running their talent over there.
Yeah.
And it's true. And a couple years ago, the chick that was running the talent, that waitress, was standing outside, and Stephen Wright was told to go up to her, that was the person that picks the spots. He goes, hey, you think I can get up tonight? And she goes, sir, open mic is on Tuesdays. Sign up.
I'll never
Not exactly the best
Speaking
way
of
to
open
run a
mic, where'd
club.
Benji go?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he had to park some cars.
He went to an open mic, yeah.
I think the Clipper game's about to let out. Andy with a question.
Thanks, Jayson. 312 area code, Lincoln Park area of Chicago. Thank you. I have a question for Chris, and this pertains to what Jeff was saying. Chris?
Yeah, sure.
I have Jeff was saying that comedy and music kind of melded together in the early 80s as rock star status. I'm wondering, in 1990, with all the great comedy and all the great bands, all the 480 bands that were coming out of Boston, did you ever cross paths?
Not so much. I mean, it wasn't really comedy really feels like, I always say that I started the day after Comedy Peak. It was everybody was they all decided to stop doing. They all went to 12-step programs the day before I started doing comedy. I mean, it was like the day after the world's greatest party. So the clubs really it's where the whole bringer thing started. I think in the 90s. Would you say that was about right in New York or whatever, or no?
I'm very interested in what you're saying.
Even earlier? Probably. Yeah, and so I think now it's great for comedy. I think just because of the internet and stuff like that, and a new generation of comics and stuff like that. But I think the 90s were not necessarily it was hard. It was a harder time.
That was the downtime.
Yeah, it was a real hangover from the 80s. So it wasn't like the coolest thing, I think, in the early 90s so much. And at least that was my experience. But
It's like it feels like there was a thing where, like, in the '80s, cable television blew up, and comedy, stand-up especially, was so conducive for it. And I feel like you get a resurgence of that now with like YouTube and the internet, and that is sort of the new cable television, even podcasting and shit like that. It's like, and that's why I feel like you kind of see this resurgence of like stand-ups that haven't yet killed themselves in the last 10 years, actually starting to get some work and being able to control their own fate a little bit. Where
Jeff-
before, I don't think we could.
Jeff, would you ever do a podcast? Are you interested in podcasting at all? Or
Doing one right now.
Oh, you.
Jeff, what about a show about roasting stuff? Would you ever consider doing a show where you just roast inanimate objects or just
That's a
stuff
good
in the
idea.
news?
That's a good idea.
I didn't know you had a podcast. Is it a burnt like a comedy?
I didn't know you had one either, but I showed up.
He walked up a flight of stairs for this, right
You're
there.
not even at your own podcast. I don't know. What are you doing?
I just found out Benji had to leave, so.
He walked out the door to
So
find him.
he really did have to leave, too.
Did he really leave?
He just
Yeah.
noticed that Benji left. That's how in control Redban is.
No. I went outside to talk to see if Benji was still here because I wanted to know where he was. I care for that little kid.
Little kid.
And I like
Trust me,
cigarettes.
Benji will be fine.
Andy has the keys to your car right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Parked at the. No? All right.
Now, I noticed after our last couple podcasts, Brody Stevens kind of took a beating, and mostly at the hands of Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
I saw him making out with Sarah. I didn't see
Yeah.
him taking a beating.
Saw that video?
Yep.
Probably gave himself a beating afterwards.
I'm sure he did. Positive push. Positive push, my dick in my fist. You like that a little too much.
Anal, positive anal push.
Is that an offer for Brody Stevens?
No, I'm just saying, like, it was cute.
I think it's great that you and Brody are dating now.
I love that out of all the days, Sarah, that you could have made out with him for the first time, you chose 5 minutes after we found out he got sucked off by a Thailand ladyboy. As soon as you
Wing.
found that out, you're just, I need that guy.
I never said that happened. Stuff happened, but not that stuff.
Have you noticed he never actually said what happened?
I'm dying to know.
Oh, he.
Well, you know what?
He said everything that didn't happen. He said, "I didn't fuck the lady boy. I didn't suck off the lady boy."
She didn't fuck me.
Well, did you get sucked off by the lady boy? I won't answer that question.
Yeah, it's basically
Oh, Brody, it seems like.
how it went. Yeah.
You haven't heard
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I pushed the envelope. The envelope pushed back.
So the last few podcasts I've been teeing off on him because I just think that's the funniest possible thing in the world.
But I noticed like all the culprits involved in that are here, and except for him. He's like, I'm not going to go down this road again.
He had another show he had to go to.
Sure he did.
Brody has another.
Yeah.
A donkey show.
A donkey show, Sarah Tiana says.
All I know is after Sarah made out with him, she got a pit bull. So there's something frightening about that.
Yeah, and he won't be in the same room with
Why
her,
can't we-
so.
Let's bring Brody in here. Let's just roast Brody. Come on, where is he?
Brody was here to roast.
It's pretty much. Any desire to do a speed roast of people in the audience tonight? If
No,
anybody,
none at all, no.
Really? Okay. All right. We're going to scrap that down. That's called a segment killer. I think that's.
You know, it's
We'll move on.
It's funny because there's a lot of comics that I know that won't get roasted. Like they refuse to get roasted, and I have no idea why.
Name
because they're
13 of
comics.
them.
I don't want to say their names, but I know at least a handful. And these are big comics, but they don't want to get roasted. Do you realize that there's a do you see that a lot? Do you have a lot of people that are like look, I don't
Normal
wanna get
people do not want to get roasted.
Right.
I mean, it's the only crazy, out of control, super egos like Trump and Sheen and those. You know, Roseanne, while she's running for president, is also letting herself be roasted, as if that's the gateway to being commander-in-chief.
Right. Yeah. Trump did that too, right? He was running for
Yeah,
president.
he was running for
at the time.
president and get roasted.
Yeah.
Here he's suing Bill Maher. Did you hear about all this shit?
I don't know.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's suing Bill Maher because Bill Maher said something to the
That he was an orangutan.
in the mic.
Bill Maher said that his father was an orangutan.
And then he
and then
Trump
he
says-
needed proof from the birth certificate. And then Trump gave him proof, and he's like making Bill Maher pay $5 million to a charity.
Well, he's mad because he said, like, how dare you say that my mom fucked a monkey or something like that. Like, he's getting like that.
Well, and all we know is that his dad wasn't a monkey, but we don't know that his mom never fucked a monkey.
It's true.
That is true. He never proved that his mom never fucked a monkey. He just proved that he wasn't born from his mom fucking a monkey.
Isn't that his the theme song to his show, For the Love of Monkey? No? That's an OJ's joke, everybody.
We're shop working right now.
Well, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that it is funny to see that people get really scared of Jeff when they do meet you. Even though, to me, you're like the nicest guy in the whole world, which makes it so easy for you to roast people because people know that, the people that you're roasting know that it's just for fun. But I do see when people meet you for this, they're like really nervous that you're just going to like somehow like unearth something about their past. Somehow you have a Wikipedia brain that could look into them, even though you have no idea who they are.
Yeah, it has to be one of those things where it's like, because like as a stand-up comic, people are always like, hey, man, don't put this in your act. They always say dumb shit like that to you. But it has to be a special level for you of like, please don't talk about my snaggletooth or whatever the fuck. Like when people
I only
come up to
roast people that are that volunteer to be roasted. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be a hand has to go up.
Do you hate to be roasted? Do you hate it when it gets
I don't like. I don't like.
You don't like it at all.
Really?
No, I would not be able to take a full roast.
Who's been the roughest on you out of everybody that's roasted you?
Greg Giraldo.
yeah. He does have
he would stop writing
jokes. He has a special
jokes.
taste in his mouth for you.
He would stop even crafting it into jokes, and he would just go, "How fucking fat are you gonna get?" Just yell at me.
It's always like people that
But I
you're
did
really
always lose
close to.
weight right after that, so it, in a way,
motivating factor. I'm
he was
sure.
doing me a favor.
Is there anybody that you like? I would like, for example, and it's not this person, but like, you did the Pam Anderson roast where you're like, I'm sure she'll be cool, and then she turned out to not be. Is there anybody that you roasted that you thought would take it well?
Wait a second, what?
No, I'm saying, is there anybody that you roasted that you thought would take it well, that you were surprised at how like offended or shitty they were about it? I guess.
No, people have been pretty good about it. I've been lucky.
What's the craziest STD you got?
Good question. Very good. Actually, this question's for the room as well. This question's for the room. We're going to send this around the horn for everybody.
That would be after the Pam Anderson roast. From Andy Dick and
I was going to
Courtney
guess Betty
Love.
White. Andy Dick,
We
yeah.
were all in the hot tub over at Tommy Lee's place.
that's a...
Any man who can honk a boat horn with his dick.
Yeah, I would think Andy Dick would call a hot tub a cauldron for some reason. I don't know if I...
A dish.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever had crabs?
No.
Never?
That
No?
was a joke at the Pam Anderson roast. And Andy Dick's sole mission in life is to give AIDS back to the monkeys. Matt Harowitz.
What's your favorite joke you ever told on the roast, Jeffrey?
I don't know. That's a good question. Favorite joke?
I'm good with questions, unlike Redban.
Wow.
Wow.
Why?
I am actually interested in that.
What do you mean? Redban's got great questions. Whoever farted into a napkin? Who's ever used an avocado as a bathing suit? I mean, the guy's full of them. He's on fire over there. Hard
But
hitting, man.
No one's gotten angry at you at the Comedy Central roast, but people do get upset.
I
Like
think
every
people
year, pretty
occasionally,
much. Yeah, maybe not at you, but it's somebody else.
Yeah, sometimes people get. I remember Melissa Rivers got mad once.
Yeah.
Once?
Yeah, Melissa Rivers was there once, and for Joan Rivers' roast, and she walked up to Greg Giraldo during the commercial break, and she goes, "You knew the rules. You knew the rules."
What were the rules, bro?
He just shrugged his shoulders. He's like, "There's no rules." Yeah.
He
I
called
don't
her a
know.
monkey or something like that.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Do they go in, like, because you get these celebrities in the panel and the, do they go like, hey, man, this is off limits. Don't talk about my kids, or they come at you with, like, certain things you can't do or can't touch?
No, not really.
Good.
You want him to leave going, that was really fun. I hope that we do that again someday.
Right.
You don't want to piss him off.
Right.
Question from the audience.
There's an audience?
Hey,
When-
Jeff, big
when did
fan.
you guys get here?
These people right here? I thought they were here for the Ding Dong show.
Have you? Are there any jokes that you prepared for the roast, and then when you got there, you kind of chickened out and decided not to do them for some reason?
Oh, that's an operative term.
That's a great question.
Yes.
Where'd you go, in the women's restroom for that question?
That was.
Where the fuck? I didn't even
That
know where
was
the
the
fuck
women's
you
restroom.
went. All of a sudden, you're like, question from a woman peeing and changing her tampon right now. You have a question, young lady. Yeah, why are you in the women's restroom right now? Answer that. Anything that you were like, oh, this is too much, I'm not going to do it.
One time I had some jokes about Farrah Fawcett looking really old. And then I got to the roast, and she looked just as hot as when I would whack off to her when I was 11. So
Really?
I used to have a poster of her in my room when I was a little kid.
We all had that poster.
Yeah.
The same
But
one.
she looked great, so.
That and Corvettes. Did you ever have pictures of like posters of Corvettes, like really cool cars when you were a kid?
Redban. What are you talking
What the
about?
fuck?
Like in the 80s, that was the big thing, like a Corvette or that Firebird thing. That was cool. That Air Force Firebird thing.
Anybody ever have a picture of a Corvette with a paper towel jammed in his tailpipe? Yeah. Sometimes you run out of underwear, you know what I'm saying?
How long is this fucking podcast? Is this one or two-parter? What is it?
We got 10 minutes.
This is the first
3
ever
more hours, and
podcast
we're gonna
be
take a break.
roasted.
What happens in 10 minutes?
In 10 minutes, Boone comes out here and fucks Tony in the mouth.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I make love to his mouth. I do not fuck his mouth.
Where
I
is
make love.
Boone? By the way, Boone and Tony's argument was pretty hardcore. I don't know if
It
you
was
guys
awesome.
listened to that. It was pretty amazing. Your hatred for Boone is really hardcore.
You fight a lot, don't you, Tony?
Yeah, you do fight a lot.
Me and Boone?
I just like. I feel like you just yell at people a lot.
I feel like you and Ed are the complete opposites of
Yeah.
each other. Like, you guys are the real odd couple.
You know, I like a lot of people. I have a lot of friends, and I have a big blanket. I have a big blanket of love that I like to put out there, and anybody that's friends with me will tell you that.
That
But
it
the-
keeps you warm when you're cold.
But the few people that I can't stand, I have nothing but venomous, furious anger towards them. And I cannot help but to let it rip as hard as I possibly
Well,
can,
who's-
so that every minute of sleep they lose that night.
But who's the guy that wants to fuck you in the mouth? And
well,
why does
he-
he?
well, he
why
lo-
would
I
he
feel like
do
there's
that?
a lot of those people, but
Well, luckily,
There has to be somebody else's mouth he'd rather fuck.
of dudes who want to fuck Tony in the mouth.
it's true. And this guy is a homeless transsexual. He actually is. That's not me being mean yet.
He's number 30.
that's just backstory.
He's been sexually harassing me for almost 6 years. In May, it'll be 6 years since I arrived here. But I'm his type.
Which is alive and with a dick.
No, that's not true. That's not true. You know he only has his few. Teeb hangs out with him all the time. That's why he has his own segment on the show.
I have studied him. That's true.
Well, the thing is that this guy's been staring at me for 6 years straight. It's pretty
Is it
creepy.
because you're a vegan and he wants to put some meat in your mouth?
Again.
One way
Do
or another.
Vegans give blowjobs? Not just you. I mean, I know you don't, but like.
My girlfriend's a vegan and she sucks a
yeah,
great dick.
you just proved my point. I was just going to say, male vegans are only vegans because they're dating a vegan.
It's true. It makes it a lot easier, and it's fun. I enjoy it.
If
Nec-
all
next-
you're cooking is vegan meals, then I'm a vegan too. My girlfriend's gluten free, and so am I.
Jeff, you don't have a favorite joke from the roast? Do you have a favorite joke or a favorite person? No, you
We're
never answered my
revisiting
question.
questions.
We're going from
We're revisiting
Tony
questions.
I know, I'm just
from
asking.
what's his from
Boone.
Blowjobs?
Boone shakalaka.
You saying you're Boone's type to what my favorite roast joke is.
Yeah.
Boone's type is anybody who can keep a secret.
And a hard on.
A Boone roast would probably go over really well.
Oh, can you if you could shut him up.
Boone almost made it into one of the pieces that we shot, one of the remotes. We were out there.
Oh, I heard
we
about
were
it.
roasting people that were
New Year's
New Year's resolutions. We were getting resolutions from people before the new year, and it was right around the studio lot. And he was pushing a cart filled with garbage, to the recycling center that was right around the corner, and we got lucky. We stopped him, but it didn't make it in.
Yeah, he told me that I did a show. I did Jeffrey Ross show. I did his show. He was very nice, and he bought me
And
lunch.
Doc had a cameo this week too. Doc who works here at the Comedy Store. He
Oh,
said
Willis?
His mom called him up. Yep.
Hey,
That's great.
dog. Hey, you can't park. Oh, that's Ari's car? Okay, you can park there. Oh, you're good, dog. You're good, dog. You're good, dog.
This week though it's definitely one of my favorites.
Oh,
he's back.
Well.
How
Looks
was
like the
your
Clipper
set?
game
We're
is
going
over,
again.
everybody.
All right, Benji, where did you go?
Hey, guys.
I went to go do a set, and there was nobody there, so I came back.
One of my mom's 5 maids had a problem, and I had to go.
He's back, and not a minute Jew late. Too soon? Jew soon?
Jew soon. Little Jew soon. Ladies and gentlemen, standing up, taking a round of applause. Boone Shakalaka in the corner, everybody. Yes.
I'll do a remote.
Are you the guy with the eggs?
Yes.
Yes.
That is him.
That's fucking. What a great idea to bury eggs and curse people with it.
I agree.
He cursed me.
Let me tell you something that he said last night.
Tony got 2 eggs.
I always write down funny things he says, and I'll Instagram or tweet, and a lot of people know I do that. But this is my favorite one from last night. Why come French people don't eat burritos?
You gave him your phone number?
No. Oh, he doesn't even have a phone, dude. That's not even an option.
Why come?
No. Hang on. Why come French people don't eat burritos? Mexican people eat French fries. That's a good point. He illustrated that he even made a good point to that.
I'd love to know the French people that Boone are hanging out with.
Boone, what do you think about Tony Click-Clack right now?
What I think about him?
Yeah, that's the goddamn question,
Full of
Boone.
shit sometimes.
Tony, do you have a rebuttal?
We've already been through. I'm not doing this thing again.
I said rebuttal. I tried to set you up.
Now let me tell you this, and I,
Can I
Boone,
ask
Boone
what
was
a-
gone for a week. He was gone for a week, and I didn't see. He's always here every night, so you never see him. You think he's gone for a while. You think, oh God, he's dead. But then I saw him randomly on the street. Like Fountain and Vine, and I go, hey, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. And he says to me, I talked to a lawyer, and I'm suing Tony Hinchcliffe. And I go, okay, why are you suing him? Emotional damages. And I'll show you the paperwork. Do you have the paperwork?
Oh
And
my
what
God.
lawyer have you talked to, Boone?
A lawyer who represents those types of cases.
A lawyer who represents those type of cases, which are erroneous cases, I believe.
Can we settle out of court, Boone? I'm really nervous over here. I'm shaking in my boots.
Will you take some new eggs?
Yeah, how is that supposed? How am I the emotional distressor when you're writing my name on eggs and burying them in dirt?
To put a curse on him.
Well, there's no law against that.
And by the way, Boone,
There's no voodoo law.
Just so that you know, Boone, after you did that curse on me, things started going better in my life than ever before.
Ed,
This sounds like season 8 of Dexter.
To the point of the eggs. So he did the eggs. In to people that don't know, he had written a bunch of people's names on eggs. He had a dozen eggs. And I showed up here, and people came up, and they go, hey, man, what's with your boy and all the eggs? And I go, what are you talking about? And then around the corner comes Boone with a dozen eggs. And he sits right by me. So what happened? And I go, I got to ask you, Boone, what's up with the eggs, man? Read them. And when I opened it, he had written people's names on eggs that he had a vendetta against. And he said, I'm going to bury them near their residence, and then they're going to have a curse put on them. Tony Hinchcliffe is the only person that had 2 eggs.
It canceled out.
Right?
It's true.
So I go, what kind of things can happen on a curse? And he goes, a lot of things. House foreclosure, plumbing problems. They could have a fall. Cut to a month later. Jeff Danis, who's another comedian here, who's a very funny comic, he's here. A month later, he comes in. He had been in a skiing accident, and he'd broken his foot. So he comes in on crutches, Boone sprints over to me and goes, "The curse is working," and points to him on crutches.
It wasn't Jeff Dennis. It was that pervert guy that he.
Oh, Ryan O'Neal. It was Ryan O'Neal. It was his writing partner. Yeah, it was Ryan O'Neal, a pervert. Ryan
Barry
O'Neal.
Lyndon?
It was Barry Lyndon. Yes, it was Barry Lyndon.
You know, I don't really believe this because I don't believe that he would bury food. He would eat those eggs.
Well, those I didn't want to eat. I had to work with them. So.
Huh? I can't hear anything.
Did I have an egg?
He said he
I have an egg,
he
right?
didn't want to eat those
You did
eggs.
too, Benji. You stingy Benji. One of his eggs said stingy Benji.
He calls me Stingy Benji because he upsells me. And
Well, you
Because
called
you're
me a homeless transvestite.
'Cause you're rich?
So why can I call you Stingy Benji?
well, you are a homeless transvestite.
Benji.
He sells stolen goods.
Touche.
He sells. he
You are
sells stolen
homeless.
goods.
You are stingy Benji. But I mean, I think we've.
And he charges everyone $1 per stolen good, and he'll try to get $2 out of me.
It's only you and Don Barris. You and Don Barris.
Things now for sale. Have Culture Club.
He's got Culture Club
Culture
on
Club?
CDR.
A CDR of Culture Club?
We have a Betamax.
Greatest hit.
I might buy that, Boone. That looks real. I like that.
And I have the Warp Tour.
Warp Tour, huh?
A bunch of good CDs. Don't ask
I
me
got
why
a
they smell like a
Betamax of
dumpster.
Lisa Cult Jam.
He's got some artwork from a hotel.
From my
Hotel
connections.
6 artwork.
It's on canvas.
Oh, fancy.
It's on
Supposed
canvas,
to
yeah.
look like dandelions. If you want any of that stuff, contact Boone. At T, we need to end this, but let's take a look at the artist. She's been drawing the whole time. She's a sketch
She
artist.
just woke up like someone in English class when you said her name. She popped up like, whoa, shit, I'm still here.
Holy shit, that's awesome. Oh,
I don't know what that means.
I
You've
see
had 2 beers, but
cats. I see everything. Here's an early version of it. If you guys want to bid on this will be eventually up on Deathsquad.tv.
let us see, Redban.
It's pretty fucking badass. Follow
Oh,
Megan.
that's so cool.
Follow Megan on Twitter, and she's going to definitely work on this because she takes it to the next level. Like the last time, she took it home and worked on it even more. So if you haven't seen her last one, go to Death Squad. You can take a look at it. Guys, thank you so much for coming here tonight. Why don't we go through it? Like, do you have any tour dates, Sarah? Like, where you at? Where can people find you on Twitter?
When is it? Yeah, at Sarah Tiana. I post all my Sarah with an H, Tiana with a Tiana.
I got a lot of questions about that, but let's just move on.
X Chris McGuire at Twitter.
X Chris McGuire.
That's it. X Chris McGuire.
What were you before?
By the way, I saw the Murder Fist show.
Yeah, was it?
At what's the theater called?
At my theater, the Straight Jacket Society.
At the Straight Jacket Society. It was a great show, Ed.
It was great.
Everybody should check out Murder
So
Fist.
funny, dude.
I wanna
Really,
check it out.
really
What
funny.
is it? Well, like, explain, like what's the synopsis?
It's a sketch group that I'm in based out of New York City. We perform the second Saturday of every month at the Pit. And, come check it out. It's real dirty. It's a sketch comedy for the devil.
It
Really?
really. I went the other night. I told you that, and I don't fuck around. It really is funny, man.
I'm going to check that out, definitely. Totally.
Appreciate that, guys. Huffing it, too, on my damn channel. Check that shit out.
And if anybody needs acid, you're around later, right?
Yeah. I'll
Great.
be hanging out anywhere you need acid,
Wait, and Ed has a new Twitter. Ed has a new Twitter
I
handle.
just started Twitter today.
Today?
Today.
Today.
Yeah,
Oh, I got to tell you about this place called MySpace.
I was gonna
You're
say,
love
yeah.
it. It's so great.
It's What's Next Ed based off the burn. What's with an underscore next.
Do you know how to use it yet?
No. But I put up articles and I keep the world updated on shitty news that we would talk about on the burn.
Great. Benji, are you anywhere?
I'll be places.
He'll be at the Staples Center 3 nights a week.
Tuesday night at 10:30, you can watch the final episode of The Burn, final episode of season 2, that is. Al Madrigal is going to be on it. Ralphie May, Nikki Glazier.
Ow.
Rob Corddry and Snoop Dogg.
Oh, how?
Rob
did you guys smoke
Corddry.
with Snoop Dogg?
Did hipsters make
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it was
And
great.
we're going to roast hipsters on the season 2 finale.
Fuck yeah.
Sweet.
And I'm on Twitter also.
You busy,
And
Benj? Or what
Instagram.
is it right
I started Vine. I'm at Benji Aflalo.
now? Benji, oh, Bobby Lee is here.
Oh, hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh.
Benji, you're getting the playoff music
Perfect timing,
on a
Bobby.
podcast.
I've gone on the road with Bobby.
It's over, but
Tony Hinchcliffe.
The 22nd, Columbus, Ohio. The 23rd, Pittsburgh. And March 1st and 2nd in La Jolla.
And if you don't know, he is Tony H plus Inch, Cliff plus E.
On Twitter, H
That's
plus
right.
Inch, Cliff plus E. That's me. Be a friend.
And Jeff Ross, did he already say his Twitter?
At Real Jeffrey Ross.
At Jeffrey Ross. Thank you so much, Jeff, for coming out. Thank you for bringing your crew here.
yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good
Guys,
luck
give
with
it
the
up for
show.
Jeff
Everybody
Ross.
watch The Burn on Comedy Central.
Follow Brody Stevens, and that's the Teeb, Jayson Thibault on Twitter. Guys, thank you so much for coming out here. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. It's always going to be free. Thank you for coming out. See you guys.